He knows Spanish.
Right, but not, okay.
I guess because
All right, good morning. How is everyone? Great? We're awake? All right. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers today. And first of all, I should introduce myself. My name is Ms. Fabre. For those of you that don't know, I'm the new assistant principal here at Westhill. Okay, I've already met a few of you. And I would like to introduce our speakers. Daniela Moreno, great student. She's passionate about figure skating. She's from Ecuador, and she would also like to major in digital marketing. Azael Rojas, a sophomore here at Westhill also. He's in the Westhill Marching Band in the Ag Science program, and he also wants to major in zoology. So let's give them a round of applause. They're going to be doing the moderation here for us. Oh, we can do better than that. Yeah? All right. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speakers. They are Westhill former alumni and also Stanford High. We have Walter Palma. Come on over. Dulce Pineda. Jhonathan Rendon. Sofia Guerrero. Rafael Castillo. And Jhonny Arteaga, he's running a little bit late. He should be here any minute. Yasmin Tirado, also running a little late. And unfortunately, Officer Torres is unable to be here with us today. He may show up for the second session, not sure, but he may be here. All right, so.
Our speakers have wealth of experience in various fields, such as professional soccer, education, law, army, and the beauty industry. I know we're all excited to hear what they have to share with us today.
Okay, we will start our discussion by asking a few questions. Our speakers will share their experiences, and at the end, we will open the floor for everybody to ask any questions.
So, please introduce yourselves. Share a bit about yourself and your own cultural identity.
Good morning, everyone. So, my name is Walter Palma. I graduated Westhill in 2006. I am of Guatemalan background. My parents are both Guatemalan, so first generation born here in America. To share a little bit about myself, education-wise, after high school, I signed up for the Army National Guard. I ended up doing a tour in Afghanistan, very interesting experience. And then I ended up going to UCONN here in Stanford while working full-time. And through that path, I ended up getting to the point that I am today. I am a community association manager, so we run a multitude of condominiums and co-ops around the community, and I can answer some questions even about water condominiums and co-ops after. But Stanford born and raised, and happy to be here today. So let me pass it on.
Morning, everybody. My name is Dulce Pineda. I graduated in 2021, which feels like a very long time ago. So I am a third-year student at UCONN. I study physiology and neurobiology. I'm on the pre-med track, so I'm trying to go to med school. Both my parents are Guatemalan. I moved to the U.S. when I was 13, just about when I started high school. I went through the whole ESL program, and then all my way through applying to college. And now I'm involved in a lot of clubs at my school, trying to mentor other students and trying to get minority representation in health careers. So, happy to be here.
Good morning, my name is Jhonathan Rendon. I'm from Colombia. Came back into, 99. Graduated high school in 2006, Stanford High. And I'm in the beauty industry. I'm a celebrity hairstylist. I've worked in, magazines and many celebrities, including Lindsay Lohan, Mariah Carey, Shakira. Been publishing Elle, Mary Claire. And then, I'm in the beauty industry, and then I'm still, working to making things happen and being successful in the industry that I'm in.
Good morning, guys. My name is Sofia Guerrero. I'm from Ecuador. I graduated from Westhill High School back in 2005. When I started school, I was an ESL student. And after that, I graduated, did some college. I honestly didn't know what to do. But always in the back of my head, I knew that I wanted to be in the beauty industry, so that's what I did. Went to Brio Academy, studied some, got all my feedback on beauty, and then got my license as an esthetician. And then after COVID-19, I decided to open my own business. So now I have my spa and offer beauty and wellness treatments. So yeah, that's my little story.
Hey guys, I'm Rafael Castillo from Stamford, Connecticut. I was born here. I'm from Dominican Republic, so I moved back there before I fully moved here. Lived there for a few years. I'm from the graduating class of 2016. I run a gym in Stamford, a boxing gym. I'm a sanctioned coach, personal trainer, and I also train other fighters, upcoming fighters. I'm also an amateur boxer myself. I'm a 4-time champion. I recently just won the Golden Gloves in New York. Yeah, I went through the whole program here. After school, I did 2 years in NCC and transferred to Western Connecticut State University. I didn't finish over there. I chose to kind of focus on my boxing career. I saw the future, so I was able to kind of open up a business for myself as a personal trainer and coach as well. So I kind of just ran with that and pushed as far as I can.
Can you talk about your own experience as a former Westhill High School student?
So former experiences as a Westhill student, I will say that I have a lot of good, memorable memories of Westhill. I did the JROTC program here, which for me was pretty much, a guiding light into what I made as a decision after, high school and joining the Army, going to deployment, seeing different things, opening my perspective. So, I was happy to say that I was very involved in the program. That actually kind of helped me to kind of do pretty better in all my other classes as well, because I know high school's challenging. I know there's a lot going on, learning a lot of new things, meeting new people, personalities. So I can say that certainly those were, definitely a lot of fond memories here that I can think that hopefully you guys all are going to make as you go through your experience here in high school.
I would say for my part, I was obviously in the ESL program, and all my teachers really helped me in trying to learn English and trying to set myself up for going to college. And I was also part of the AVID program and LEAD, which just helped me really set those skills and everything that really helped me just apply to college and be able to be successful in college. So yeah.
As for my experience in high school back in graduated 2006, it was challenging because I came from Colombia in '99, no English. Again, it was challenging, but again, all the teachers were very helpful, and I was not the one who was, quiet. I had a lot of friends. I would talk to teachers, about me growing as a person and as a student, and wanting to be, good at what I did and understand things that I really didn't know. But it was challenging, and I always say that if it's not a challenge, it's not going to make you grow. So always challenges in life will make you grow. And yeah, so that was my experience in high school, which was tough, but made it through.
As an ESL student, I think I had a lot of challenges from starting school, speaking no English at all, not able to communicate with friends or other students or even teachers. It was very hard. But I think hard work, just study and read and practicing the language, it helped me a lot. And And so yeah, that's what my experience was. But at the end of the day, I think I loved it. I made so much friends. I know all these teachers that helped me to understand how you can grow and never give up. Just always try to be positive, even if it's hard for you to learn the language. But always stay positive and know that you can do it.
My experience here was pretty good. I made a lot of friends. I had a lot of fun. I struggled at first in the beginning, but the staff here, I thought, like, at least the teachers that I had were pretty good and helpful. Like Mr. Weintraub, I'm sure someone here has him. Mr. Weintraub was a great teacher. He had a great perspective, and if you wanted to help yourself, he would also help you. And I thought that was really great. It changed my outlook on how I kind of approach everything, and stuck with me to this day.
Sorry, I am a little late. Well, sorry, I'm a little late. My name is Yasmin Tirado. I am actually a teacher in Stanford Public Schools. And my experience here in the high school, I was actually at Westhill for like a month. And then my parents moved around the district, and we ended up getting redistricted to Stanford High, so I ended up graduating in Stanford High School. At that time, I was already out of the bilingual and ESL programs, but I did encounter so many great teachers throughout my high school careers, and then I always had like this one special teacher that always, was my backup and the person I always leaned on. I had a lot of great friends. I'm Puerto Rican. We had a little Puerto Rican, friend group. But at that time, yes, that's what's going on with my high school experience.
Does this work?
Yeah.
First of all, thank you guys for coming out to this. It's great to see so many students here. Thank you guys as staff for putting this together, and I apologize for being late. I know I missed the first question, so I don't know if we just go right at where we are. Do we go right where we are? Do we go back? Okay. So, my name is Jhonny Arteaga. I graduated from Westhill High School in 2004. I was just like all of you guys here. Came from Colombia when I was 12. Attended Dolan Middle School, went on to Stanford High School, and then transferred into Westhill my senior year. A little bit about myself. I now own a soccer club, a soccer academy in Stanford. I was a former professional player. Was really blessed to be able to play at the highest level in Major League Soccer. Played in USL for those people who are familiar with it. It's the second tier of US soccer. I was also in Europe, spent some time in Germany, and ended up playing in Poland. So my sort of path in my life has been the sport and soccer. And obviously it all started when I was a young boy, dreaming of the stuff that I'm able to do today and I was able to experience. That's a little bit about myself. I went to college as well. I went to a Division II school, Dominican University in New York. Played there for 4 years, graduated with a marketing degree. And then after school, after college, I went and pursued my professional playing career. I'll add a little bit about my experience as well, so we just kind of take care of those two questions, if okay with you guys. When I came in as a student, obviously I was transferring in from Stanford High School, and even though it's in the same city, new sets of friends, new set of teammates, etc. So I think it was important for me to lean on friends and people who I had a relationship with, but also teachers, leadership, guidance counselors, and obviously my coach. So I think for me, and if I can give you guys any sort of advice, is lean on the people that are leading you and helping you, because that's what they're here for. They're here to support you as you look to achieve whatever you want to do in life. So just continue to lean on them and value these moments, because they do go by quick. Next thing you know, you're out of school, and then you're into college, and then into other things. So just enjoy the moment here. Enjoy the people that are looking to help you. Give it your all, work hard. I think everyone here has success in whatever they do in life, and I think the ingredients don't really change. I think you have to have a strong work ethic. You have to be disciplined at whatever you do. So, you know, that's sort of the advice I can give you. And my experience here was very positive, and I'm sure yours will be too, but you have to make the best out of it, because ultimately it's up to you.
Okay, what was your motivation to enter your fields? And how can we encourage or recruit other young Latinos and other minorities to join your field?
Great question. So the motivation to enter my field, after coming out of the military, doing deployment in Afghanistan, and I signed up for UCONN in Stanford, I ended up working a job in downtown to manage commercial buildings. And you know, it was a great experience. I learned a lot through that job of dealing with people and just learning about buildings on the interiors, the exteriors, all the things you really don't see. While doing that, I ended up meeting people who owned and managed the building, and you know, it's one of those things as you see, you know, you're gonna start thinking to yourself in your head, you know, how do I take the next level up? You know, at some point you get comfortable with what you do and you kind of want to challenge yourself, right? I think that's one of the better things in life to do. You want to challenge yourself, you want to prove to yourself that you can do better things. You can be the person that you admire. You can fight to be that person. So in seeing these people, you know, talking about the next level things that I wasn't in tune on, I started getting more involved. I started studying it in school. I started kind of putting extra effort, putting more time into learning from these people, you know, the managers, the owners. And through that, I was able to venture into the field that I am now. It's just, you know, property management all around Fairfield County. You know, I'm a team leader now for the company. Again, putting in the time, putting in the work, learning all the things. You know, you have to go out there and prove to everyone. Sometimes, you know, you may think there's some challenges ahead of you, being Latino, to say, you know, there's other people that have a one-up on me, right? There's people out there that, you know, already kind of have it set up from the beginning that we don't. But that should be the motivation, that should be the fire, you know, under you to say, you know what, I want to learn the next thing. I can be that person I see or I admire or that I look up to, because everyone has the potential to do it. You have to unlock it, but you can do it. And I think that's the message I'll give for the motivation of my end.
Personally, for me, I always knew I was interested in medicine. Growing up in Guatemala and seeing all the issues with the healthcare system in a low resource communities, I always wanted to be an advocate for providing healthcare to minorities, and I'm on my way there. But during high school, I was involved in a lot of like science things, so doing field research, doing lab research. So I always knew that I wanted to do college and pursue a career in science. And obviously my early experiences in research just sparked my interest in doing research now in college. And so as a first generation student, like my parents always like really pushed me to go to college and pursue a higher education. So my inspiration comes from them, and also like the passion that I have for science research and just medicine. So like the message I want to give you guys is pursue those passions, pursue that spark in you, that whatever it is that you're called for, because everything in life is hard, but whenever you have passion for it, it just becomes so much easier. So even when it seems like really hard and almost impossible, if you have the passion for it, there's no obstacle that can come in your way to stop you to get there.
My motivation that I entered the field that I'm in was basically my family. I was born and raised, obviously, till I was 11 in Colombia. And then when I came here, I started, my sister actually, back in Colombia, I was like 7 or 8 years old. She would come from college and she would flat iron her hair with a clothing iron. So back in the day, there were no flat irons. So that's how she used to flat iron her hair. So I was like, can I just help you? And she was like, no. You're too small, you might burn my scalp, you might burn yourself, and then mom might just, you know, hit you or, you know, yell at me for letting you do this. So one time she came home really tired, and I was like, let me just help you. And she was like, no. And I was like, can I just help you? I was very consistent. And she was like, okay, help me out. So I started doing her hair, and I was like with the iron board, and I was like, okay, pull. And she would pull her hair. And then my mom came in while I was flat ironing her hair, and she was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm helping her out doing her hair. And then she just stayed there looking at me while I kept on doing her hair, and she's like, okay, I'm next. So then I moved to the States. My sister bought a professional blow dryer, and then that gave me more motivation to like learn how to do hair with the blow dryer. So every time my mom would go get a haircut, I would be like, can I come with? And she was like, okay, let's go. So I would legit sit by the chair and just stare at, you know, the stylist cutting my mom's hair, doing her color, or blow drying her hair, and I'm like, I think I can do that. And then my mom and my sister became my guinea pigs, and like I just started experimenting color, cuts, they would let me, I was like, okay. And then I went into cosmetology school, and then everything just began. But my inspiration and my motivation has been always them, because my mom has been a single mom since, you know, with 3 siblings, and at a very young age. And that's like my support and my motivation to like be better and do better every day. So that's my experience and my motivation to where I'm at today.
I think my main motivation was after COVID-19, I got pregnant with my first one. So at that time, I think I decided to no longer go back to a 9-to-5 job. And my main thing too was quality time, family time. And so that's what I pretty much do now. I feel like I don't work anymore. I do what I love what I do, so I don't feel like I'm working and struggling and tired and struggling sometimes. I love what I do, so I don't feel like I work. But I think my main motivation was my kids and my family, really spend time with them.
So growing up, I kind of always did what was expected of me, everything that everybody else wanted. So when I first started boxing, that was my break from that. When I boxed, it kind of taught me a lot of things, you know, discipline, what it takes to work hard and what you get out of it. But it also unlocked my competitive nature. So when I started fighting and I started working really hard and I started seeing a result, I saw wins, I saw me getting better and competing against high-ranking pros. That's kind of what I got addicted to, so I just full-fledged committed to it and just kept pulling through. I think boxing is just a good space for anyone that's like going through anything, or even if you're not, you know, if you're just competitive. I suck at team sports, and boxing is more like an individual thing, even though you do have a team around you, but it kind of gave me a different light to sports. I didn't have a good experience playing football, soccer, but the greatest experience, boxing. I'd recommend it to anybody, whether you're going through something or not. You learn so much about yourself, you get a skill that you can always use in life, and it's a good space, you meet great people. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. So, my motivation to enter my field is actually, I have a lot of motivation, right? My parents, my family wanted to do better, but I think my biggest motivation was my 5th grade teacher. That teacher was my first American teacher, and he pushed me, he motivated me, he inspired me, he looked out for me. A lot of you may know him, he's actually the principal of your school. He was my biggest motivation to become an educator. He made such a difference and an impact in my life that I still look for him when I need like some help or some advice, even if it's something dumb. But he was my biggest motivation to become an educator, just to become someone who some of my students can come up to me and talk to me and just be there for them, not just being an educator and just teaching them academics, but also like just making that communication, that relationship, to hopefully help inspire some of my students. I am still in touch with some of my first year and second year kindergarten classroom students when I taught bilingual. And some of them still call me, they're like 21, 22 now, and I see what a difference I can make in their lives, even if it's just giving them advice. But I also have that with Mr. Melly. Do I think some of you should join the education system? Absolutely. I think we need, first of all, more minorities in our field. But just hopefully, being able to make those relationships with your teachers, hopefully it'll inspire you to become an educator.
My motivation to play the game of soccer was from a very early age. My father always was involved in the game. He played himself, did not play professionally, but played a lot of soccer. I was always around the game, and I feel like it's just all I've done. So I can say that it was my family, my father, and as you continue to grow into the game, I do share the same that most people here are saying about being your passion. If you're passionate about something, it becomes just natural day-to-day versus a job. And I think that playing professional sports, it's obviously not easy, but you have to have a level of desire and self-motivation and passion for it. So for me, I was always around the game. My father is probably my biggest motivation. And then fortunately, after playing and having a professional career, I always wanted to be involved in the game because I love it so much. So I began coaching, and as I was coaching, I wanted to make a further impact in the players and children that I was working with. So started to expand into my own program, and then obviously now, as I mentioned before, I run an entire organization and a soccer club, and I'm fortunate to do what I love every day, but again, I share the same message. If you have a passion for whatever it may be, and you're disciplined and focused on what you want to do, I think with hard work, anything can be possible. So that's my message to you guys. Just find what you love to do. It doesn't matter what it is. Do your best at it. Work hard. Stay disciplined. Learn. Constant learning. I'm learning every day about the game now, and I'm going to be 37 years old. So there's obviously always room to continue to improve and get better. And do I think some of you guys should get in the field of sports? Yes. Some of you here may have the desire or the dream of playing a sport professionally. Any soccer players here? No? Don't be shy. No soccer players, okay. Any other sports players? Anybody? What, football? Basketball? Track and field, good. What about back there? Football? He's hiding now. Okay, so yeah, some of you guys may take the sport to the highest levels, but even if you don't, the sport will open up a lot of doors for you, whether it's in school, friendships, network, and self-discipline, a lot of things that you can carry on to your life, whatever you decide to do. So yes, if you want to get into sport, absolutely, it's a beautiful thing to do. It's a healthy lifestyle. But all in all, I think anything you decide to do, just do it with passion and you'll find your way.
What is the biggest challenge you face as a Latino or Latina to achieving success in your field/industry right now, and how did you overcome the challenge?
So I would say right now the biggest challenge, or at least my biggest challenge as a Latino to achieve success was, I guess basically changing the narrative. And I don't want to even read too much into that, but coming in when you see people in your field that maybe are not quite like you, different cultures, or you're put in a position where you kind of have to display what you're made out of, right? And I'm a proud Latino for sure, And you really kind of put your best foot forward to display you're capable, as I mentioned before, capable of doing the same things anyone else can do, right? So you all have the learning ability to achieve any type of field, as Jhonny was saying, any type of sport, right? You just really have to have the passion to do it. So, in me putting my best foot forward, displaying that I'm capable and competent of any of the items that are needed of me, for, as I was saying, in like building management and all this, that type of business, that ended up getting me trust. I was developing goodwill with people. They see the capabilities. They now trust you with more, doing more, teaching you more, being able to kind of run the show, at least in my case. And I think I want to say that I've actually seen good change since my time coming out of high school to now, where I do see that we do have great Latina representatives in our community, at all levels. I would even say, government, entertainment. I feel like we're really making, a big impact. So, I'm hoping that those challenges are not as fierce for, for those in whatever you want to do now. I think we're in a good path, but I would certainly say, you definitely want to display your capability to anyone and let them know you can be the best of the best like anyone else. So, always keep that head up and let everyone know that you're capable of doing anything you want to do.
I would say that early on, just in high school, being an ESL student, English was not my first language, and that came with a lot of challenges. But not only that, now that I'm in college, just being first gen and kind of have to pave your way through college is really hard. But I would say that just a simple example, I feel like my first year, it was me and my roommate had this English class and we were writing essays for it. And she had the option to just send that essay to her mom for her to read through it and give her feedback for it. And if it in my perspective, I couldn't send that essay to my mom because my mom, she struggles speaking English herself. So I feel like it's college comes a lot with you being an advocate for yourself, and you have to really fight for that passion that you have, and really you have to be your own help in anything that you do. But I feel like in my field now, my biggest challenge is being a minority in an underrepresented field. It comes with a lot of self-doubt because you don't see a lot of people that look like you, and you always have to kind of prove to yourself and to others that you belong in the field that you are in. But that's why in the things that I do now, I really try to help other students and mentor other younger students, because we definitely need more minority representation in science and in any other field. That plays such a big role in just inspiring younger generations to pursue their passions as well. So I feel like there comes a lot of challenges with being a minority, but it's not impossible. And obviously when you have the passion for it, it's just such a rewarding thing, not only for yourself, but for other generations of Latino people. So, yeah.
All right, so my biggest challenge again has been language. Obviously, in the industry that I'm in, it's very different from everyone else's here. Because sometimes you might think for my side, you don't really need a language for hair or makeup, but you do. I mean, there's things, references that people go to in 1980s hairs, 1970s hairs, and you're like, wait a minute, what is that? So of course, it's a challenge for me to go back and see how they used to do hair back in the day. And it's like, wow, they used to wear wigs this way. They used to do wigs that way. But of course, it's a challenge besides the language, but again, in a creative way, it was also a challenge for me to be able to achieve, adding hair to a braid, braiding, gluing a wig down, doing so many other things that maybe in my industry, a lot of people don't know how to do it. They're just one simple, 1, 2, 3 steps hairstylist. In my case, I like to challenge myself, and I want to know about color, wigs, cutting. So I want to know it all. So it's challenging, yes, but at the end of the day, it's very rewarding to see like a picture in a magazine or something that comes out on TV and you're like, wow, I did that, it looks super cool, you know? And it's like a very rewarding moment. So I do think like, yeah, it's challenging, but I don't think nothing's impossible when you really put your mind and your consistency and your dedication to achieve whatever you want to go.
I think as a Latina, I went through a lot at the beginning because obviously the language barrier. But then at this moment, like I said, opening my business and just being in the beauty field, it was also a little bit challenging at the beginning, but now I feel like after everything I went through, the language, cultures, religion, everything else, it makes everything so much easier now to be able to get to know more people. In my case, get all these clients from everywhere and just be able to be a little bit more successful than I probably thought in the past I would not be able to. It's very rewarding and it's very prideful for the Latino culture.
So, in terms of challenges, I haven't really faced like a direct challenge. I can't lie, but there is this general stigma that comes from being Latino, right? So, for example, I'm Dominican, and we've seen the videos on TikTok, right? People think we're loud or annoying, right? So, there is a certain way you get treated because of that, whether they realize it, that they're doing it or not. The way I overcame stuff like that was, one, I kept my head down, right? I kind of behaved in an opposite manner of their expectations. I stayed humble, I'd be quiet, I worked very hard, and I just pretty much stay out of the way and did my own thing. And in the end, people remember your character more than your race. So again, like if you're facing any racial stigma against you, any bias, again, you work hard, keep quiet, stay humble, and just have a passion and a drive for whatever it is you're doing, and it will find a way to move, right? Again, people will remember you for your good qualities rather than your skin color or where you come from.
So, biggest challenge I faced as a Latina achieving success in my industry was definitely has to do with language, right? When you're going home to your family, no one's talking to you with academic language, no one's telling you, hey, you know, my mother couldn't tell me, hey, Yasmin, what are you learning today in school? She couldn't do that for me. She couldn't conversate with me regarding what I was doing in college. So I was learning so much, so many things, so many new things. Sometimes I didn't even get a good grade, I would get a C. And in college, you know, that's a big deal, so I would have to take the class over again. And I was okay with that. I think the way I overcame it was I continued to try, I continued to fight, I continued to work really hard. It didn't matter how hard it was, I didn't want to give up. So, so like everyone else in this panel, just keep working towards, you know, what you want and you know, what you want to achieve and you will do it.
Yeah, I think some of the challenges early on when I came to the U.S. were obviously language, culture, and just as you're in high school, at least for me when I was in high school, just getting to know the system. You know, my family always wanted for me to pursue a college education. I always thought and knew I wanted to do that. Obviously, playing the sport was an add-on to that and an extra boost to go and play in college. But I didn't know the system. I didn't know how you would get in front of college coaches. I didn't know how you would get recruited. I didn't know what the requirements were. So I think for me, trying to navigate all of that was definitely challenging. At the high school age, you know, the language was much less of a challenge for me. But just the system itself and understanding what needed to happen to take the next steps past high school were really difficult for me. But I think that, you know, everyone's going to have challenges at some point in their life, you know, whether it be now or later. And I think one of the things that for me I felt was important was to try to learn as much as possible and also adapt as quick as possible. You know, I think that coming in from Colombia, I didn't obviously speak, you know, any English, and learning it and getting involved and trying to understand and learn the system was crucial to my next steps as high school. So I think adapting, learning, leaning on the people that can help you within the school system is always very important. So for me, that's kind of how I overcame those challenges, and adapting to the new environment is important.
I think this one's working now.
Okay, so what advice would you give to the young Latino students here with us today that are struggling academically?
All right, so advice for young Latinos who are struggling academically. You know, I know it's hard to say. High school is, you know, a time where I know, you know, at your age, you're having a lot of fun, meeting new friends, and, you know, it's easy to kind of get caught up in all that. But I would say, you know, try to take a moment of reflection that, you know, after high school, you guys are going to, you know, start venturing out into the real world little by little, and the challenges are pretty significant if you're not well prepared for the real world. So, you know, use this time in high school to really, you know, take it a little bit more seriously. You know, sometimes you may want to rely on other friends, you know, a collective effort where you guys are like, okay, you know, some friends you have in your class, and, you know, kind of really look at each other and say, hey, you know, we really got to challenge ourselves here. Let's try to, you know, make sure that we got homework in on time, preparing for tests, doing what you can. Start seeing that you guys, as I mentioned before, the capability that you guys have to do all these things. There's nothing, you know, in school that is impossible to achieve. It requires effort. And I know that sometimes that's hard to dig into, but you kind of have to reach in there, put in the effort, respect your teachers, show them that you care. You know, they're going to notice for sure. And as you know, you're going to get your report cards and everything. You're going to reap the benefits of it, and that's going to help better prepare you for that next step after high school. If you're going to go to school, go to the military, whatever it may be, but, you know, you've made yourself a better person, and at the end of the day, that's going to be the goal you're going to try to achieve every day, to become a better person each day. So that's my task.
I would say that the little efforts you put in every day make a bigger impact on the long run. Whether that is just like turning your homework on time this week, or just listening to your teacher when she says you should try this new thing. I feel like, from my experience when I was in high school, I couldn't picture myself where I am today. And I had great teachers that showed me that everything that I'm doing right now was totally possible. Ms. Fabrino, she always pushed me to do so many things, and even when I thought it was so silly, it turned out it was everything that I did then led me to where I am right now. So even when it seems like whatever you're doing now, it's not going to make an impact on what you want to do later, it definitely does. So every little effort you put in every morning towards whatever it is that you want to do will totally make the difference to get you there. So.
All right, my advice for students, you know, having issues or academically, I would say, you know, in the real world, sometimes friends come and go. Let's put it that way. As simple as that, okay? So yeah, you might be besties, you might have a lot of friends in school, but at the end of the day, if you focus on just friendship and not to what you really come to do at school, which is learn, that's your only work that you have right now, just study. Because who's going to benefit from that? You, not your friends. Education is one thing no one can ever take away from you. Never. Okay, so if your education level is high and your level of expertise when it comes to your work or whatever you're doing, is good, no one's gonna take that away from you. Okay, remember the friends come and go. It's fine, have a lot of friends, but also don't forget about your school. Don't forget about your things that you have to, your priority. All right, so that's my advice to you guys.
Okay, we're gonna stop right here because we want to have some people from the audience ask questions. So does anyone have any questions from the floor?
I have one.
Okay.
Can you talk about how when you were in high school and you had days where you came in and you felt like doing nothing, maybe you didn't turn in an assignment, maybe you didn't turn in your homework, looking back on that experience and saying, yeah, had I done a little bit more here and there, I might have gotten into a groove faster, I might have been able to do things a little bit better, but having the experience now because you are successful, looking back on that, what the impact might have been?
So that's definitely a good point. I think it also applies in just everything. So I'm a victim of that, right? There's times I got lazy, I didn't want to turn in an assignment, and I was forced to play catch up in the end. And again, it's like the future version of myself just hates the past version of myself for doing it because it just makes more work at the end. But in everything you do, right? If you do those little things, you work hard, you stay consistent. Most importantly, just consistency. You will get more out of it at the end. You'll get some value towards it. But not only that, if you're struggling and a teacher sees that you're trying and you're very respectful, they will also go out of the way to help you, right? It has to go both ways. It can't just be you want something out of a teacher and you don't show them anything because they won't want to help you. There's no incentive.
Any other questions?
I just want to kind of back into that. Everybody here has great points, amazing, and you guys are all absolutely right. But I want to talk to you guys like you guys are my own children. I have twins who are in 10th grade in trouble, so I know what you guys are going through. So I get the questions at home every day. Mom, I don't want to do this, I'm tired, I don't want to do that, I don't want to wake up, I don't want to go to school. What I say to you guys is lean on your teachers. Ask for help, ask for support. We're here to help you. We may look a little, grumpy one day, or one day we may be a little happy, but ask for help. We want you to succeed in high school. We want you to do well here. So like that, when you graduate, you don't have to repeat this part.
Any other questions? No questions? Great. Well, on behalf of Westhill, I want to thank you all for being here with us today, sharing your experiences. Your voice, your experience, all of that. I hope it motivates some of these students here. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. All right, we're just gonna wait here. The bell will ring in about a minute or so. So let's just wait here. If you have any questions, if you're shy, you don't want to speak on the mic, and you just want to talk to someone, please feel free.
Hopefully your conversation was